from what I know from oral history and what I know from what people have found here at Blue Spring and underneath the bluff shelter, this is probably one of the oldest inhabited places on this continent, arguably. There are items that have been found here that date back 10,000 years. And so because we haven't found pottery or points or those kinds of tools or implements that are older than that, doesn't mean that human beings weren't here. As I've heard from various people who've talked about the history of Blue Spring that's been passed on to them from their grandfathers and the grandfathers before them, it seems that American Indian people have been here since time immemorial, since we've been here, which is an awful long time. So it's an ancient place for American Indian indigenous people.
On our first dive in, we went in with conventional, cave diving equipment, which are very large steel tanks on our back. When we got down to the crack, and the crack is 12 to 18 inches wide. Well, that's pretty much the size of our tanks, let alone our bodies. And we were really disappointed at the first dive when we were not able to make entry into the spring itself because the crack is so small. I got down to the crack and eased in, and of course it was kind of tight, and that always brings on a little apprehension whenever you start trying to squeeze through something.
I just barely made it through the second restriction. I couldn't believe that there was so much more cave below us.
We swam down and there's another restriction. It was about the same size as the second restriction. Now in this system, any place that you can actually turn around, we call a room. Below the third restriction is a room. It's like a tube shape. It's about 5 feet in diameter and about 15 feet long. There's a gravel floor that's on a slope.
The water flow is really strong here. We started looking around for the source, and we see this small opening just to the north side that was choked up with gravel.
They were finally able to move on past the fourth restriction, and there was a small room beyond with a floor that sloped down 45 degrees.
The floor of this room was covered with gravel and led to another restriction, number 5, which was a small hole about the size of a basketball.
Later, the divers recreate the passage of the fifth restriction for the camera.
It was a very closed in, not much freedom of movement. I only had one arm that I could really work with, that I could move gravel with, and just keep going an inch at a time, And if I would have panicked and tried to get out of there, there was just no way to get out. I mean, you just had to keep digging to get out.